All right, everybody. Welcome, everyone. Brendan here. All right. Thank you all for coming in. Let me mute that side of me over there. I got multiple screens, multiple devices going on. Thank you guys so much for joining me. You are joining me in our currently being established office. Forgive the lighting. I basically turned on a bunch of the screens I got up here to give me the best lighting. The rest of the lights come down from above and wasn't really going to look too good. Thank you guys so much. I'm watching my comments over here. I got the Nightbot on, guys. I actually had someone help me set that up. I don't know how to turn it off. You can enroll in that course if you like. It's on our website. I'm gonna get that fixed here pretty soon, actually. So, without further ado, I first of all want to thank all of my clients, all of my followers, all the people who have supported me all throughout my journey here. A lot of things have changed since I first started this YouTube channel and since I first started doing this work in general. I started, as you know, in 2019. I had another channel. It's still up. It's called Soul's Kitchen. That was where I first posted about freeing my father from the legal system and the court system by utilizing some of the information that I've had the pleasure of teaching so many people how to use properly, and how to stand in honor. So ever since that day, I made it a point to dedicate myself to helping other people navigate this modern world. I didn't have that same kind of help, and I wanted to be able to help other people learn the things that it took me so much time and so much failure and so much mistakes to learn. So I just want to thank everybody for coming on here today. I hope the angle's all right. I'm using my MacBook, my my computer camera. I'm planning on changing this as we continue our broadcast. I mainly wanted to have a conversation today. Uh, I wanted to talk about my journey and my story a little bit, and I wanted to talk about trusts. I wanted to talk about some of the truth of how this system really operates and some of the findings that I've had, and how time has led me to mature enough to finally understand these elements for myself. So I thank you all so much. For those of you guys just joining, please be sure to like this broadcast. You just go onto my YouTube channel. And in fact, I think I can like it myself. Let's see. I think I can search myself. Let me just take a gander here right quick. Yep, there I am. Great. Yeah, so I can like my own broadcast. So be sure to like this broadcast if you haven't already, guys. I really appreciate it. Be sure to share share this with your friends and family. I'm looking forward to today's discussion. So, let's see here. Yeah, so I wanted to discuss some of that today. I'll also be sharing some information that I found to be interesting and that we'll talk about. Let's see. Am I coming through all right to everybody? I think my audio's still working. Let me check. Let's see. Yep, looks loud and clear to me. Loud and clear to me. So we're gonna. Great, Corin. Really appreciate it. Thank you all so much. Thank you guys so much. In fact, give me just one moment. I'm going to get some water. Let me just transition you guys. One moment. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you all for joining. All of those of y'all just now joining. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, first, I want to talk about a little bit more about my story because really I haven't had a time to give an updated part of my story since 2019. So, I began this journey actually back in high school. In high school, I learned about how the birth certificate was actually connected to securities trade and other things that I didn't really understand at the time. Right there, as far as I understood, it was still kind of more of almost a conspiracy sounding idea, but it didn't seem too off base with some of the evidence that I was presented, especially the evidence about how the name of banks were usually on the paper that they would use to print these certificates. I found that very interesting. So I started studying more about that. And before high school, I was studying the law in general. I kind of had I had a choice between going through law and through science through my continuing my education. And when I was a child, I was really interested in mathematics and science, but I was also very interested in the law for the reason that my father was incarcerated when I was much younger, and I was very curious on how I might be able to help him with a situation like that. So, uh, as I was studying the law, I was studying, social studies in general, uh, the dynamics of how the law, social, economic, and political all kind of came together, things I was very interested in. Um, I was really interested in just upping my education when I was younger. And so when I stumbled upon that information in high school, it it kind of opened up a new avenue for me. And then even through college and through my entrepreneurial journey that I started actually as a landscaper, I was driving driving my little Chevy pickup truck, mowing yards and cutting grass and trimming trees and hedges and stuff like that. Even all through that time, I was listening to audiobooks by a lot of these authors that talked about these subjects that I'm sure you all are familiar with at this point. And I also started learning more about business and industry in general. I was starting to learn about credit. I was starting to learn about how to navigate the system, how to be a business owner. My experience as a landscaper helped me as a business owner, communicating with my clients, doing a proper service for them, accepting payment, things like that. I didn't have all the official bells and whistles, but I had Cash App and I had a little square, little square thing to swipe credit cards on. I was learning those aspects of business, and all the while I'm listening to audiobooks about how different departments of the government are really performing certain functions that normally to a normal person doesn't really make sense how they intertwine. For example, how the Department of Defense is actually monitoring all large banking activities and banking transactions. Learning these type of ideas that were very new to me. Something that very much intrigued me, especially knowing that my father also worked for the government for a long time. Wondering how much of this information he knew also, and maybe how much wasn't really a concern to him, kind of on the outside looking in perspective. So, as I continue to do my work and study, naturally situations come into my life that test my knowledge on those subject matters. If any of you guys followed me on Facebook, you'll know that as I continued, as we got through, once COVID happened and everything shut down, that's when I started helping people with fixing their credit. Let me get that. Right, Chris? I see what you're saying. I for a second I didn't understand what you were saying. But yeah, that's when I started helping people with fixing credit. And we've had a lot of success with fixing our clients' credit. We still have some clients that we're fixing up. But I was going through that same journey. I was actually just telling my brother this the other day that when you become an entrepreneur, you're really helping people solve the problems that you yourself had to figure out. And so that's what happened. When I was much younger, I had a credit card and it got stolen. And they ran up a balance when they stole the credit card, and I was just so naive. I didn't. I had called them and told them that my card had gotten stolen, but they hadn't canceled it or closed the account in time, and so it ran up a bill, and I wouldn't pay it, and they they charged my credit. I forgot. I'm forgetting. I'm blanking now what it's called. Um, they they charged off the account. What's up, Keith? They charged off the account. I had that derogatory sitting on my credit for so long, and then I finally got it off, and I wanted to do the same for other people. And then that slowly expanded. That expanded more into doing consulting in general. I found a lot of people were consulting with me looking for help with their case because these attorneys really weren't doing anything to help them. So I started doing that for a while. You can ask Keith on here. We were touring all over America. We were heading westbound, and for a long time, I was taking consultations and only accepting silver for those consultations. And I was just helping people, whether it was with their credit or with their court case situation, or helping them to dispel a lot of the myths that some of the private side industry has fed them that could lead them astray. Setting people up their trusts. I still do that as well. If you guys want to trust, I'll be providing all the links here as soon as I get a chance. I'll be putting it in the description of these videos. It's a lot of work with all this social media. I got to give a big to my team. They helped me out so much with most of my social media stuff and most of my work. I really couldn't do it without them. Big shout out to my team. I know some of you guys are watching the stream. So, that slowly evolved into consulting. And then as we continue on, I started getting involved in other forms of business, some good deals, some bad deals. And they've led us to where we are now. And now, I had the wonderful opportunity of being able to make some really impactful classes with Celine Consulting over there with T&E. Big shout out to them. I'm super thankful that we were able to create that program. I'm looking forward to our future collaboration opportunities that we're going to have together. Really super thankful to them. I also had the opportunity to be in India for an extended period of time, and I plan on being global. We plan on releasing a program in the future about starting an online business and traveling abroad. We're going to be starting a program on how to invest, even if you're starting off as a 9 to 5er, or you're just, you got a part time job, or even if you're, a stay at home mom. We are going to be learning about how to actually provide value in the business world and not just saturate it with AI generated content, oversaturate and offer all these packages that everybody else does. No, starting a legit business with solutions to help people. Okay. So we're going to be offering that program. We already have a program, the school program. In fact, I will put that here into the comments section. I would love for you guys to join the school if you haven't already. I know a lot of my school participants are already in here. Let me get you guys the invite link. Just bear with me one moment. Okay, great. Here's the link, y'all. If you haven't already, if you're just joining the stream, please like this stream. Hit that thumbs up right there. That helps our stream out a lot. Okay? So if you guys haven't already, please join the school community. We talk more about this. We have I have exclusive live sessions with everyone in the school community. I'm gonna pin that right there. Y'all be sure to join. We're already doing a qualified trustee program in the school community where I talk about how to be a qualified trustee, how to actually operate and uh, navigate using a trust, how to actually use it practically, and all the essential information that you need in order to learn that. Right now, we've been learning all the fundamentals. It's a self paced class, so even though we're on, I believe, week 5, we're on week 5, but all the previous live streams and all the previous written material is there. So if you haven't joined the school already, please make sure to do so. Please make sure to click that link right there. I put it in the comments as well as I pinned it. I in oh invited. Uh, the Bobby, I think it does. I mean, I've never tried it. I don't know what the rules are with Canada and their tax collecting system, but I mean, the fact that it's all under the British system would lead me to believe that it's very plausible, although I can't say for sure as I've never done it. Yeah, let's go guys. Be sure to like the broadcast. Be sure to like this broadcast, guys. Really appreciate it. We got only got 5 likes, but there's 21 people watching the broadcast. So please click that like for me. That'd be very much appreciated. It helps our channel out so much. Helps our channel out so much. So, as I was saying with my story, so I naturally, as I was doing that business, helping people with their credit, consulting with them, setting up their trusts, I was also introduced to uh, the other side of business, the part of business that's not talked about in a lot of these groups. My one of my associates likes to call these circles that talk about the private side information the commerce groups. Commerce groups, I call them private side groups. All kinds of the patriot movement, really whatever you want to call it. They, in my opinion, the groups fail to talk about business. I think T is doing a really great job of changing that by talking a lot about business and getting his community members opportunities for business. But really, besides him, I don't know anybody else in the community that's really talking about business. You know, the max that they're talking about is consumer stuff, your rights as a consumer with your car and your credit and all that, which I think is wonderful. But I think they fail to touch on actual value value building in business and how that interconnects with the information that's found in the private side space, and how the ability of accessing your credit is not just so you can have what you need and what you want and maybe for your family, but actually being able to benefit society as a whole, the community at large, the worldwide global economic community that we have now. This whole society is a global society now. It's not just a regional thing now. We have there really is no borders in an economic sense. So in that sense, we need to be aligned with that. We need to be aligned with that aspect of business and building value and creating value. Can you just explain your thought on that equity? I'm not sure what how to answer that, Bobby. Equity is a very complex topic that I think is misrepresented in many ways. So I've gotten to that point because I've learned a lot about, like, I've been studying a lot myself about mergers and acquisitions. I've been practicing investing for myself. Not super huge amounts, but also not insignificant amounts either. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you guys, how I'm navigating how to invest sensibly and not let it take over your life. because I'm realizing so much of this can really encapsulate your life. Most people who work like a 9 to 5 situation, their whole life is encapsulated by the material. They don't have any time to just sit back and not do and focus more internally on their own internal world and their connection with the divine and spiritual life. They don't have that opportunity. So I want people to have that opportunity by creating that time for themselves. And I believe you can do that by creating a sensible strategic game plan on how to get yourself out of the robotic lifestyle that so many people, especially in the United States, find themselves in. I think that's really the goal. It's finding that lasting peace. Okay, that lasting peace and that comfort of knowing that you're going to be taken care of, because God, in my opinion, is really taking care of us. He's really there for us. So, I know Keith can attest to that. We've been able to find our peace and still do our work, right? Thanks. This is a new modern world that used to not be possible, but we really can. We really can do the right thing and, you know, have our own way of living both at the same time. I think that's very special. Exactly. The creator does run everything. Yes, Canada and America both follow the same rules. Yeah, I'd say so, Benjay. Um, Jonathan, I'd say they definitely work. The systems are the same. I've just never done it. So, um, I don't know who the tax authority is in Canada, but you can alert them in a similar manner when dealing with a court situation. Are you familiar with using mutual life insurance as a trust vehicle to build generational wealth? Yes, I am actually, Chris. We actually are going to be offering life insurance. We have an agency that we're building with one of our partners as well. Keith is also going to be one of those members. So we definitely do have experience with that, and we will be making content around that subject matter. Um, at the age of 67, I need peace. Yeah. Everyone at every age. A lot of younger people believe that they can just, you know, continue on living the same way they do now at age 20. Canada Revenue Agency. I'd say so. Let's go, Jonathan. File the forms. Oh, great. Yeah, look Keith up, guys. Look him up. Just the thought of the judge will, in the end, follow the rules. Oh, yeah, that's a bunch of nonsense. So, yeah, Bobby, we have been talking about that. The idea that guys doing some process where you just like basically like give everything back to a court or just try to reject everything and try to file all these in court filings of like doing an abatement or acceptance and doing a whole process with the court, in my opinion, doesn't work. And then they're just supposed to magically follow all the rules at the very end if you keep doing these processes. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the IRS is the only thing that's going to stop the courts from encroaching upon people's liberties, at least right now at this moment in time. Question for you. I was able to create some documents from the SEC filings against T-Mobile for my bill. How can I use this advantage during arbitration? Well, it's really hard to say. I'm not sure what documents you created. Is it possible, if you want to know, you can book a consultation with me? You can go here to do that. Let's see here. All right. I guess that's not a link. Here, I'll do it like this. Let's go. There we go. There we go. Is it possible to transfer your IRA account into a life insurance vehicle? Yeah, of course it is. Detroit, actually, yeah, book a consultation with us and we can help you do that. We can help you do that, Detroit, for sure. Anyway, guys, so back to my story. So I was learning along the way how all this business operated, and I was doing it at the same time that I was learning it. And I just kept absorbing it. I kept studying about markets. I started learning about trading. I started learning about securities. I started learning about trusts. I started learning about gold. I started learning about commodities. I started learning about government. I started to watch shows about the topic. I watched some billionaire or Billions, the show Billions, a little bit. I started watching documentaries and videos on investment bankers that work in mergers and acquisitions. I started just consuming as much content as possible around finance, around money, around history and banking, around politics, and around power dynamics, and around some of these important economic events. And as I continued to study all that information, it also come together. All the information I learned about how the government works, how business is operating, how it's all running together. And then eventually, when I was able to take that time to find my peace in India, I was able to connect it all to the spiritual purpose. And now here we are, doing the best we can to offer value to all the people that come into our channel to help them navigate this material world and to find peace. That's really our goal here, guys. Basically, proof of my account being securitized. Oh, I'm glad you found proof. Glad you got that. Do you guys provide tax filing services? Um, no, I do know someone that has a class on how to do that. So go ahead and book a consultation with me, and I'll get you. I can get you linked up with where you need to go. I know exactly where you need to go to do that. Keith, I got a Mexican Coke. You got to finish it off. Yeah, you're welcome, Minji. Yeah, we do have accounting help, Keith, but we do have accounting help, but it's a little bit different. Oh, let's see. Let's see. Oh, I got to go on here to do that to pin the comments. Let's replace that pinned message with that one right there. Okay, that looks good. All right, why don't I bring this down here since I ain't even using that screen anyway? That'll allow me to look at the comments a little bit better and look at myself. Nice. Okay. I always get the best emails, guys, whenever I'm live on YouTube. Isn't that funny? What about the CRA in Canada and big banks to discharge a mortgage? Any luck with that? I've never done it before, Gouch, but I would walk someone through the same process in Canada because I almost can guarantee you it's almost exactly the same. Maybe just some minor changes in names to the agencies. So book a consultation with me. The link is in the pinned comment. The pinned comment here, book a consultation with me, and I can help you with that, okay? If John asked about CRA already, I apologize, but let me tell you, we got sold a bill of goods in Canada from so many. I'm not sure what that expression means, Gouch, but I'm happy to help any way that I can. And now, with the upcoming shift in the financial system, what will be one of the essential things for a beginner to take care of? Here's the question. The question, guys, is with the shift in the financial system coming, and it's already here, y'all. They're just rolling it out slowly. One of the essential things for a beginner to take care of, in my opinion, will be to learn about basic business practices. in my opinion. Learning about basic business practices in our modern financial system, and then learning how to extract the value out of the modern financial system to create uh, just enough wealth to be able to have your own. In my opinion, you need to have the goal of having your own sustainable community. Um, you need to be able to have a backup in case this system shuts down. What happens if the internet turns off? It's very possible that that can happen. If there is serious war or conflict, there is a possibility of those things happening. And so, um, having that sustainable community to go to, I think, is so important. So my understanding is that on the public side, we accept debt as our legal name, and on the private side, the signature authorizes them to create money. Yeah, that's right, Christopher. And then there's actually a Roman concept. The word idiot means somebody who acts as a debtor and creditor at the same time. I believe that's the actual for where the phrase came from. Could be a different word in Latin, but I'm almost positive it's that. So that's true. That's what happens with most people. They act as a debtor and a creditor at the same time and get themselves messed up. Well, I really appreciate you guys so far. Hit that like button, y'all. We got how many people? We got 22 people watching in the stream right now. Please hit this like button down here. If I have to share my screen to show you guys, I will. In fact, I'm going to. Let's go here. Let's see if I transition. All right, I just transitioned, guys. Can you hear me okay? Let me know if y'all can hear me okay. Do you guys provide trust services? Yes, we do, Binjay. All right, if y'all can hear me, you need to click this like button right here. There's only 5 people. There's 23 people watching the stream. It keeps multiplying it. That's crazy. This is kind of cool, actually. But yeah, click that like button down there. Okay. Okay. So we plan on also doing a podcast too, you guys, just so you know. We're gonna buy all the. You see 23 rights, Detroit. Let me see. I'll refresh his page. Yeah, you right. You right, Detroit. You right. I appreciate y'all. So we plan on doing a podcast. We're gonna get this whole office space set up right here, and we're gonna get the mics and we're gonna get the lighting right so that we can make some great content for you guys, and we'll start streaming it live. This is just amateur hour production, but I promise y'all it's about to get a lot better. The quality of our content's going to get a lot better, and the frequency of it. The community is just going to be really. There's going to be a lot of resources for the community. I mean, real resources, not these like silly uh, academies or all these online coaches that just feed you all the same regurgitated information. I'm talking like as practical as you can get and at a good value. That's really my goal. And just show you guys what's worked for me and what my winning strategies are. Exactly. High vibrational. High vibrational success, happiness, peace. That's what we're all going for. And none of this fake stuff. None of these trying to keep myself alive. stay super young looking, be kind of cuckoo nuts, none of that stuff. Yeah, really being consistent and there for everybody. Yep, showing up. Showing up, Keith, exactly. Someone asked earlier if we offer trust services. I did say yes. Great. Now, what will be the most essential documents to have for your trust for banking purposes? Also, what will be the most essential trust for a beginner? I apologize for my 100 questions. No problem, Ben J. Um, Most essential documents just to get a bank account, all you need is a certificate of trust and EIN CP 575 notice from the IRS and your ID. That's all you need. And then a living trust for beginners is the best trust to start with. Tell us how you pulled it off with your dad and your different strategies. Sure. So with my father, I had a dual strategy. I'll tell you guys the exact story of what all happened. So my father was actually being released, and he was getting ready to actually come and live with me in Texas. Okay, but then some family matters happened, and a sibling went up there and started creating some accusations and called the police and had my father arrested. Okay, the accusations ended up being baseless. Um, I he was gonna have he had court on Monday and it happened on a Friday, and I he was up in Grand Junction, Colorado. So me and my brother drove from Texas to Colorado, and I was writing up all the paperwork while my brother was driving. And so I had a dual strategy. The first, I knew I was going to bring up the taxes. The taxable event of the court bonds was my main issue, but on the public side, I had a motion. So I did a motion to dismiss, and I used all the reasons why the case should be dismissed. All the stuff that you're all familiar with, that were not the name on our driver's license, that, the court doesn't have subject matter jurisdiction, whole, Article 1 versus Article 3, all the stuff that you learned in the Patriot movement, essentially. It's all the stuff that I knew that at that time. I didn't know how much it was true or not, but I was doing everything I could. I wrote all that. I wrote that up. And then I wrote a letter on the private side asking the judge to do a full accounting on the case and to provide all the tax documents that he's filed for the case. And so I had all of that ready to go by Monday morning. I go to the court and I asked the clerk in a very nice way. It wasn't the court clerk. It was one of those front desk clerks that accepts your paperwork. I gave her the letter of instruction, and the instruction said, "Please provide me the 1099 OID for the original issues in this case." I also asked for a full audit in compliance with the suspicious activity report of the Treasury of FinCEN. And I asked the clerk at the front desk very nicely if she would please take that letter to the judge. And she looked at me a little confused and reiterated the question, asking again if I would take it. She said yes, and I gave it to her. And she said, okay. And she went and gave it to the judge in his chambers. And then the judge came out all, you guys can watch the video on my YouTube channel, all hot and sweaty and really angry and upset. And they ended up kicking me out of the courthouse and releasing my father very quickly. So I used a dual strategy of the upfront uh, on the front end with all the stuff I learned in the Patriot movement, and on the back end on the taxes. If I could go back in time, I would have changed how I did it on the front end a lot. But I also think that they were already up to a lot of foul play in that county. And so I think that they didn't want any attention from the feds, and so they had to get rid of me as soon as possible. Because they ended up following me around for days after that day. to make sure I wouldn't go to the IRS and file. At least that's what I think, because cops were always around everywhere I went. They would just kind of like cruise around on the streets and kind of like stay back a little far away from me, but they were always there and just chilling in parking lots if I ever went into an establishment of any kind. So that was my main strategy. Can this process still work if the person in question is already incarcerated? It can. I've seen it work before, but it can take a while. It definitely can. It has worked and can work, but it takes a while, without a doubt. Absolutely. So, any questions, y'all? I'm really just trying to get consistent here. So, there was some content that I was going to share, but I thought I'd rather just have a conversation. Did you study under Patrick Devine? All that tax stuff confuses the hell out of me. I didn't study under Patrick Devine. He passed away, I think, before I even got familiar with the information. Um, I don't know how long it's been since he's passed, but I did not work under him directly. Um, really breaking you can't break free from usury in my opinion. This whole world is built on it, but you can break free from the monodical 9 to 5 grind, the slavery basically that they have you on. That's what achieving real peace to me is the goal. Grateful for your knowledge. Thank you, Kareem. I've been hearing of some documents we can file to get someone released. I do have an idea. Then share those documents. Now, when you say you would have done it differently, would you have brought equity or filed the IRS? No, no. I probably just wouldn't have even filed anything on the public side just because it wasn't my case. I was doing it for my dad, so it's a unique situation. I had another case later on that was for myself, and I handled that in a different manner. But I was still able to prevail. It took a long time though. I'm very fortunate. I've been protected by the creator. What would you have changed on the front end? Yeah, I wouldn't have. It's hard to say, it wasn't my case, it was my father's. So I was trying to basically come in and be that voice of reason that they didn't want me to be. Now they have so many strategies for keeping people out of the courtroom that they don't want to be involved. So again, really appreciate y'all. As far as putting yourself on record as a living person, I would just file it in the county, file it under miscellaneous, just to put yourself on record for that. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and start wrapping this up. I just wanted to get a chance to tell my story and start getting on here regularly. I'm really trying to schedule some content and make segments for you guys where we start having dialogue discussions about certain topics and maybe we watch something together. Um, that's kind of my plan for what I want to do. It's just a lot of people's content is not what I want to talk about. So pardon me, guys, I need some time to get inspired with what I think you guys really need to hear to help you all along the way. So many people need help in so many different ways, so I'm gonna try my best. Yeah, you could write it on an affidavit, Korean. Some people do the live life claim. Yeah, no problem, Christopher. I appreciate all you guys as well. All right. So much to learn. Yeah, me too, Corinne. All right. Oh well, I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. We will I will start posting here more regularly and try my best to do more regularly scheduled content. Okay? Thank you guys once again.